Now we're on air. Yay! Hi everyone. Thanks for waiting. Sorry we're a little bit late. I'm here today with my cup of coffee, and we've got Glynis as usual, and we've also got Owen with us today, just as a special treat.
Hi Susie.
I'll just turn off my
Hi
noise.
everybody.
There you go. Okay, so I'm all set now. Sorry, I had a little technology issue going on there. So today is a special day. We're talking about the little gem, and this is why Owen is with us, particularly today, because the little gem is your baby, isn't it, Owen?
That's right, Susie. Yep, all ours.
What did you do that was a bit different with this wheel? Because I heard that you had a bit of a challenge on this wheel and contemplated it for some time and then came up with something a bit new.
We thought about the little gem for about 3 years and realised that there was a gap in our spinning wheels. We wanted something that was portable, but it also had to do everything that our other wheels could do. It also had to be able to fit in a bag and be extremely portable. And that's the target we set when we made the little gem. And it was a wheel we said it took 3 years to think out and 3 hours to make. And we tried
3 hours, really?
3 hours to make. We tried lots and lots and lots of different patterns before we worked out how to do the little gem. Well, I worked out how to do the little gem, and it was extremely successful. And the secret of the little gem is that it has a much smaller wheel than many other spinning wheels, but the wheel is geared so in actual fact it goes faster.
Let me just turn my camera around here so we can hopefully see. Oh, look at that clean washing in the background. Okay, you can just see here. Hang on, let's see. The size of the wheel, it's very small.
The size of the wheel is tiny compared to other spinning wheels, but because it spins faster, it stores the energy in the wheel. A little bit harder or different to treadle. I won't say harder, it's a little bit different to treadle than an enormous big wheel, simply because it doesn't have so much inertia, but it does give a very light treadling action to it. So light, I say you could almost put an egg under your foot when you're treadling. It is so light to treadle.
And it is really light. It's got something a little bit different in the treadling too, though, hasn't it? It's almost like, I think someone described it as like a bicycle pedals with it, because it's got slightly different action from the other wheels as well. How does that work? Because the pedals aren't actually attached to the crank.
Well, it's something that is, if I said very innovative, and yes, the pedals aren't attached to the crank and they work in a similar fashion to a bicycle, treadling a bicycle. And there's wee rollers underneath the pedals, and you simply press on the pedal, and the crank is designed to rotate away from you. It's much more difficult to treadle backwards than other wheels, but it does give a very easy action when you're treadling. Very, very light, and a favourite of many people.
Well, the cool thing about it is that first thing I noticed, because I've used quite a few different travel wheels over the years, especially in workshops, people tend to bring their travel wheels to workshops. So I've played around on various different ones. But this one actually spins like a large wheel. And I'm not quite sure how you've achieved that. Lots of them spin like, maybe they're more direct in the treadling, or they're just a little bit, they're not quite so robust or don't feel as sturdy. But I actually use my little gem for a lot of spinning, not just for when I'm traveling. At the moment, I've got some top that I just made on the hackle, and I just posted it on the page too because I thought it was really pretty. And I use the little gem for all my fine spinning. Actually, I've got the fine flyer on it and the little lace bobbins, and it's so stable. What is it that makes it like different from the other wheels that aren't as stable? Because I know some people have this as their only wheel.
That's right, Susie. When we designed the little gem, one of our criteria is that it must be able to spin fine yarn, and perhaps an original intention of mine was to keep it for fine spinning. But common sense from my family overruled me, and on the little gem you can fit everything from lace bobbins to big bobbins, but it certainly does shine for fine spinning. and we can pop fast flyers on it. You don't need a high-speed head, and spin away, and it's very light and easy to use. It does give the impression of a larger wheel. But with any spinning wheel, the effort can be applied to spin from any direction. You can have a big wheel, like any large Saxony type wheel, or a small wheel, and both take exactly the same effort to actually spin the yarn. So how you apply that effort is can be done in different ways. And in Little Gem, we chose to have a small wheel spun faster and a big wheel spun more slowly. And just as simple as that.
So it's got the small drive band. It's got two drive bands. It's got one small one that goes to the back of the wheel. There's like two grooves on it, and then the larger one that drives the flyer. So how does that work to change the ratios? I don't really understand ratios very well. So I know there probably are some people that are interested in finding out how all that works and if it affects the speed that they can spin. Is that why we could have the small wheel, is because it's got the extra band on there, isn't it?
Rather than using drive rods or piece of string to connect the wheel to the pedals, as many folding wheels have, we chose to use a drive band and drive the wheel using a crank system. And by that method, we could actually make, in fact, it's probably the only method we can use to make the wheel spin faster. So when we started designing it, we used tiny little wheels and spun them really fast, but there had to be a point at which convenience came in, and the size we finished up with is the most comfortable and practical size for us to use. And the bottom drive band, yes, connects the crank system to the wheel. And from then on, the next fine belt, which drives the flyer, is just the same as any other wheel of where you can change the belt from pulley to pulley to change the speeds. And in this wheel, we can raise and lower the head, which makes it a little bit easier to keep the belt tight for when you're really fast spinning. And if I say the other really important thing about this wheel, and Susie's probably going to say something about it shortly, is the fact that you can rotate the head to the left or right. And as I say, once you've done it, you'll wonder why every wheel isn't as so easy to use as this. Because if you spin on the left, you just crank the wheel a little bit to your left. Straight in front of you, you can set it straight in front of you. Or if you want to do a long draw out to the right-hand side, you can just give the wheel a twist and secure it in place and draw away. It's just
I was going to say long
use.
draw particularly, although I'd be turning it to the left because I do long draw with my right hand. I don't know if I'm weird to do that, but it is. And I don't, how long have I had this wheel? About a year or so? I only just discovered that the other day. Turning the head to different sides. Yeah, okay. We won't talk about that. It is really useful. The other thing I did, I had the wheel for a little while, and where were we? We were at a show somewhere, and I was spinning away, and I think it was plying. And Glynis, you came up and you just turned the band around for me and said, "Oh, you're going to find that much easier now," and I did. Can you tell us what that's about? Because I'm sure there's other people like me that haven't really thought about the direction of spinning on this wheel, but it can help to turn the drive band around, can it?
Are you asking me, Susie?
Yes, I am.
Okay, well, on our other wheels, if you want to reverse, should I say, or spin in applying direction, then you just pedal with it. With the Little Gem, you need to keep your crank turning in the same direction, which is, can I show you, going forward, like on a bike.
Yep.
And so to do that, you've got two options. One is to turn the bottom belt, to cross the bottom belt, and the other is to cross the top belt. Now, it's better to cross the top belt for two reasons. One is it's very much quicker and easier. And secondly, if the lower belt is at all slack, then it has often a tendency to jump off. So cross the top belt, then you can pedal forward like a bike, and your wheel will go in the opposite direction.
Yeah, that is really, really
Does that
useful
make
to know.
sense?
It does. And totally when you did it, I thought, oh, that's easy, because I was actually reversing the bottom band when I was,
Yes.
and that's actually, once I figured out the trick for putting that band on, it was so much easier. I was trying to like lift it on over the top, and I thought, oh no, actually I can just roll that around. So you actually just put it on one side and then roll it around. And I was swapping that around for plying, but to do the top band, because you know I spend more time spinning than I do plying. That was actually a little bit of a light bulb moment for me. Thank you, Glynis.
Well,
Rescued me. You must have seen me from the other side of the room and thought, oh, poor Susie.
Things evolved for us as well. We started off when we first made the Little Gem. We suggested people cross the lower belt, and then we started to see the odd person had the lower belt would jump off, and then we thought, oh, of course, cross the top belt and it'll all work just as well. So
Makes perfect
since
sense.
then we've been saying do the top belt, just quick, easy. The only thing I would suggest though is when you do that, it's a good idea just to turn the head a little bit so that the belt is not sort of rubbing on each other and rubbing
so
away.
make
You know,
gap
just there's a little weeny gap. Yeah.
Now I was just having a quick look in the YouTube chat, and I see we've got some friends there today. Hi, Annette. Recognise the scarf. And Evanita's there, and I see Robin. Robin, you sent me a message, and I haven't answered it yet, but I was about to, but now I can answer it now in person. You asked me about breaking the brake band, the green brake band on the Little Gem, which I've done a couple of times myself. And I was just asking Glynis about it. This is made from what, a woven something?
It's a braided rayon, Susie.
Braided
and one
rayon.
thing you need to watch is to keep it in good condition, because I have noted that if it gets fluffy, which it does after a while, especially if you're using the wooden bobbins, that it can stop you having a nice even draw. You know, it can make it a bit jerky. So keep your
Right.
brake band nice.
Yeah, and if it breaks, you can make a temporary one, can't you? I'm just taking fluff off my band now that I just threw it. Oops. You can make
Well,
a
not even
temporary one, can't you,
one.
with a crochet cotton or?
Yeah. Crochet cotton's quite good at, well, it's quieter and it's readily on hand generally.
Yeah, it just
So
doesn't
it's not
last as
so
long,
strong.
does it?
That's right. No.
Yeah,
No, it
yeah,
doesn't.
but it does the same job. So, and it's pretty easy to access, and a lot of people even have it sitting in their stash of bits and pieces. So you can always make one up with some.
Yeah.
I've done that. I've tied knots in it, and it was my own fault. But somebody was playing with my wheel. It's just say so, a little person, and it tangled and it just broke. So yeah, I fixed a couple of those, but it wasn't the end of the world. There was enough of the string to tie an extra knot with it anyway, and of course all the dealers have replacement drive bands and so on as well, so you can always order something if you want to, you know, have the green one it comes with back on there again. So does anybody else have any questions while we're here? I'll just have a check on the Facebook page and just see if anybody left us a question there. I don't think we did.
Susie, I was just thinking about the stylus on the gem, and it does fit very well, but because, you know, when I'm using the stylus, I really like to lay the spinning head down as far as I can. And of course you can't do that on the gem. All you can do is just angle it a bit. So it'll work. It's just it's different.
Oh, speaking of the head, we can actually raise and lower the Little Gem head too.
Yes.
Alan was talking about that before. I know we've talked about that with the Aura head and the other wheels, that they do have the adjustment to raise and lower, but you can even do that with the Little Gem. I suppose some people that are taller than me might also want to have a higher orifice as well to work with. So, and it really is just a matter of just lifting it up and tightening it up again, isn't it? Quite
Yes.
simple and straightforward as well, like this wheel.
One time years ago, we were asked to make a longer gem stem for some lady who was particularly tall, and she wanted it immensely tall, which we weren't terribly thrilled about because of the fact that it can, make it a bit unstable. I think we had to have a name on, I think of something like Thuya. We had this Thuya wheel, which was interesting. She was very happy with it, but it was too long for the bag and all sorts of things. So it was quite an interesting one to do.
Now, I just did a blog post on the bags, actually, because the bag is out for the the bag is out for the little drum, the extra drums for the drum carter. So I did a whole blog post on the bags, and I have to say the bag that comes with the Little Gem, it is so good because I just throw everything in it and put it in my car and off I go, and I sort of feel like a little bit of a pack rat, really, because I've got my fibre in there and I've got all my bobbins and bits and pieces, my niddy all fit in it and all that, and it's really sturdy and really solid. And I was looking at the drum carter bags too, thinking, well, this would actually make really neat project bags as well, apart from anything else. But the bags that comes with the Little Gem anyway, you buy it and you get it with the bag, don't you? So it's all one, like a kit.
And it's made up in Kaddy. There's a nice young lady who we've dealt with for years now. Her name's Nadia, and she's the one who makes the bags, and she takes a lot of pride in them. And
she does an awesome job on them.
She does a lovely job. We're really happy with what she does.
So they're custom made for you, for the products that you've got. Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, the carter bags I think are really good.
They look really great.
Very strong and lovely,
you actually really feel like everything's well protected in the bag. It's not like just a bag to pick it up and carry it. It actually feels like it's contained and protected, and it's the same with the Little Gem and its travel bag. It's sort of, you feel like it's not going to get easily damaged just by putting it down on the floor and something leaning on it or whatever. It's nice and solid. And it's got the extra space in it, in the pockets, full goodies to go in. So what does the Little Gem come with? It comes with 3 standard bobbins, doesn't it? And which flyer does that come with? The Delta?
Well, you can have whichever flyer you want, but the one that we put on it is the Delta flyer, simply because it's just so quick and easy. And we also have just a very basic little lazy Kate that comes with it. And we call it a travel Kate because the thing is that if you're going to be away somewhere, you may well want to fly, and to take a big lazy Kate's quite a business. Whereas
I like that little lazy Kate. Actually,
little one is helpful, and I'll tell you what, it does the jumbo bobbins too.
Does it? I haven't tried it with the jumbo bobbins.
Yes, it does. Yes.
Oh, well, it's pretty handy. See, I probably use it for, well, every time I go anywhere, I take that with me. So it gets used a lot. And and that folds down because it's got the pegs that just pull out. So that also goes flat and into the bag as well. So you can pretty much customize the wheel that you get, really, can't you? You can ask for, like at the moment, I've got my lace flyer, and this has got the small fine orifice on it, and I've also got the fast wall on there as well. So you could get it like that, or you could get it with jumbo bobbins. They all fit, and I've seen people with the Aura flyer on their Little Gem and jumbo bobbins, and it looked like it was getting pretty full as well. So this is one of the art yarn classes workshops I did. She was jamming those bobbins full with nice big bulky yarns, and it was handling it really well because the Little Gem is Scotch tension, which makes it really, really good for doing the fine yarns. But I've actually found I can spin pretty much anything on it. I just need to increase tension as I go, and it seems to handle pretty much everything I throw at it. So it's quite versatile. I'm fiddling with my fibre here. I'll put that away.
Yeah. Well, Pat Old, who's one of New Zealand's top spinners, as you know, Susie, she did the American Certificate of Excellence, and she did everything on it except the rope. And she said there was absolutely no problem, and I forget just why she needed to do the rope on something else, but I think she might have even done it by hand. But anyway, she said it coped with everything, so I thought that was a good recommendation.
Yeah, well, it definitely is, because I mean, I know it's, it's marketed as the travel wheel, and compared to your other wheels, it is the travel wheel. But I do know there are a number of people that really have this as their main wheel, because it is so nice to use and you can do so much on it. And especially if you're doing fine spinning, it's just a breeze. Really, you can sit there and zone out and binge watch stuff like I do for hours, and it's really comfortable. So I know we've also seen our friend Melissa with her orange custom wheel. It's gorgeous, really
It is,
pretty.
isn't it? Yeah.
And you guys did the pulley orange as well, didn't you, to match with the drive wheel? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's pictures of that on the website and on the Facebook page as well. Some of the custom wheels you've done.
We did like a fire engine red for Elsa Lamb at one stage, and a few coloured ones.
Yeah, the purple ones are really cool too. And didn't you have a purple pioneer at festival too?
Yes,
Really pretty.
we've done some pink ones lately to go with the rose bright bobbins.
Oh, same colour as the bobbins. What a good idea.
Yeah, they look good too.
Yeah. Actually, that would be really cool. Everything matching.
Yes.
How are the bobbins doing? Have you got some left? I haven't got one yet.
Well, you should be thinking about it.
I need to be fast or last, I think, in this case.
You do. I think we're down to not a huge number there, but Andrew tells me we do have to sell them for the year of their release.
Yeah,
so
for this year.
We will have to get some more.
Time.
Yeah. We've got a bit of time.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, and next year, of course, I don't know what the colour's going to be next year, but I think we're doing a vote for it as well. So maybe Andrew's orange comes in.
It's going to be done a little bit differently next time. So we're going to know the colours before we start.
Yes, that would be good. Yeah. So.
But there'll be able to be a vote.
Yeah. It's fun, I think, and everyone gets a chance to say which one they like the most. It also helps for following years which choices to put in there as well, because we know that the blue and the orange were also quite popular, so they could go in next time and take another vote on those as well. So the little gem also, it does come with the standard ones, doesn't it? The standard bobbins, 3 of those.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So
I think, as you said, Susie, as with the other wheels, it's entirely customizable. So if you think you're only ever going to spin lace on it, then you don't need to have the standard bobbins and the Delta Fly. Just start off with the lace kit, have extra lace bobbins.
Yeah.
Or if you're only going to be doing, wild yarns, have the wild fly and some jumbo bobbins. You don't have to stick to what we would put out as standard.
Yeah, I think it's really cool to be able to kind of mix and match what you want for your wheel, especially if you've been spinning for a while and you've got a good idea on, and you know what you're going to want to spin in the next, couple of years. You don't have to muck about with buying all the extras. You just get it all straight away with the first purchase. It will rise at once. So
the only thing to keep in mind is that the flyers are different widths according to the size of the bobbin. So if you've got a jumbo flyer, you can't use your standard Delta flyer on it. You have to have a wide flyer. Yeah. But you can use your big wide flyer on the smaller bobbins, obviously. But
it's just not quite so satisfying, I think. It's a visual thing. I've used the Delta flyer with the lace bobbins. It just doesn't look right. It worked fine, but I think it's better with the one that matches. Also, I think it, the way it spins, it goes a little bit faster with the lace one. And we were talking about the stylus. We mentioned that sort of briefly before as well, and that does also fit on this wheel. And I think this will be, I haven't used it on this one, only on my Aura, but that's also a nice accessory for it as well. The only thing this doesn't do is the overdrive. Just
or the high
a little
speed
proportional difference there. Although although I don't think you really need the high speed heat for this one, unless you're much better spinner than me anyway at lace. Got to keep up with that one. I'm just not fast enough for it. Oh, there probably are some people that can spin really fast and really efficiently. I'm not one of them. Although that's a goal.
It does make it so easy though if you're using a Suzy or something. Gosh, it's fantastic on the Suzy, the high speed heat.
Yeah, I'll have to try it. Maybe I should challenge myself to see if I can keep up with it at the at its best speed. build myself up to it. You know, the Tour de Fleece is coming up, or it's just about started now, and you know,
2nd
there
of
are
July,
people
I
that
think.
spin massive quantities of yarn with that. It's a great opportunity to, you know, make a challenge like that, spin as
Well,
fast
I'm
and as
threatening
fine
to
as
do
you
it, but I don't even know what to do. Do you just sit and spin?
yeah, I think the idea is that you spin while they're cycling. So for as long as they're cycling, you're spinning. I think some people just do a challenge. They'll give themselves a challenge. So I'm going to spin this much of my stash during the course of the race, and over that time they do it. And if you join a group that's doing it, I know our Fibre Goodness group, we're sending them over to Chris Knight with the Nevermore team, and they have their own challenges, and they do spot prizes as well, and everyone shares what they're doing. It's pretty fun. It's a commitment though, you know, once you get started. I think you've got to be determined you're going to stick it out, like, you know, a marathon.
Well, we haven't got Sky, and so we don't see the racing, so it's a little bit you feel like you're a bit at sea with it, you know.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe
what
it's live
else
streamed
happening.
somewhere. Might be some live streaming for it. We should have been doing it with, we were just talking about, but before we started, we're just talking about the America's Cup and the New Zealand yachting, and it's a little bit early in the morning for me to get up and watch, but that would be a good time to be spinning. We should have our own America's Cup spinning
But
event.
I've got
or
my
something.
fingers in my mouth chewing my nails. I can't spin as well.
I think maybe spinning would be a great distraction. It would save your nails. You probably spin really, really tight, twisted stuff as the suspense grows. But they're pretty exciting races, actually.
Wonderful spectacle. Yeah, it really is.
Susie, can I get a word in?
Yeah, I suppose so. Go for it.
I was going to say a couple of things about Little Gem and how portable they are.
Yep.
And one of our very first ones went to South America. There's a lady taken hers to the Antarctic and spun on the ice. People popped them on their mobility scooters, and I've seen them headed off down the road with mobility scooters. People have taken onto planes as cabin baggage and spun in airplanes. They have spun as they've been in passengers of cars. I guess you'd have to have a big car, but from the passenger
I think
seat,
I could make that work.
put it on the floor and away they go. And it just shows the versatility of Little Gem, where they're just so adaptable and so easy to use.
And it's really light. I also just love that I can just pick it up and walk from one side of the room to the deck outside, and you know, there's no hassle. It's just so light and easy. I can do that. Whereas my Aura, I kind of need two hands to pick that up and carry it. But my Little Gem, it just zaps around the house with me as well. And I know that lots of people have. Well, yeah. Just tell the world, Glynis, yes, I'm vertically challenged. It's true. Well, and it's, see, that's why I said before I didn't need the higher orifice on my wheel at all. It's just the right height for me already. In fact, maybe you can make it lower.
Oh, so we didn't even have to cut it down.
Yes. Well, so it is real easy. I mean, I can just pop around the house with it, and it's no problem at all. But people have also asked quite often about taking it as hand luggage on planes and so on. And I think it would be perfectly fine to take as hand luggage. You can check with the airlines first and just make sure. Sometimes people will take, you know how you take a pram or a pushchair on the plane and they'll just put it aside for you as you go in. I think they can also do that as well for your spinning wheel, and a Little Gem in a bag as well if you're worried about putting it up in the overhead lockers. So they generally look after them for you. So
the question I always wonder is whether they might consider that the flyer shaft would be a tool for donging the pilot on the head or something, you know.
Yeah, doesn't look like a lethal weapon though, but then neither do knitting needles.
It could be.
Yeah.
It just depends on the airline, but I know people have had them in their overhead lockers and things.
Yeah, yeah.
Somebody
and
else
I think
would go under the seat, but I think that's a bit much.
No, you wouldn't want to put it under the seat. It definitely wouldn't fit very well. And then there's a risk of people's feet and so on, even in the bag. I wouldn't want to risk that. But the overhead locker, there's absolutely no doubt about it. It's going to fit in there. Yeah, but some airlines, they have like the baggage check as you go in, and it's got to fit in a certain size. I think it might just about do that. I haven't ever tried it to be certain of that, but yeah, it's definitely something you can travel on a plane with, and I think it would be quite easy for, other forms of public transport, train, bus, whatever. It just doesn't take up that much room. It's smaller than a suitcase, so, and like I said, everything fits in the bag.
If we are sending them when they're parcelled up and in the box and all of that, it's about 7.5 kilos for anybody who's just wondering on the weight. And a lot of it depends on the wood. You know, the plainer wood is lighter than the wood with a lot of grain. So, yeah, it varies a bit.
Yeah, but that's pretty light anyway for a wheel. Yeah, and that's with everything with it.
3.5, 4 kilos, I think, on its own.
All right. Owen, anything else you'd like to add?
I don't think there is, Susie.
Are we done? We got it.
Yeah, you pretty much got there, yes.
I'm
going to think of something.
I think we covered everything.
Yep.
Yeah. So, it is made of New Zealand Remu, isn't it, the whole thing, apart from the drive wheel?
Yes. And solid Remu, there's no 3-ply or anything like that. The wheel is made from bamboo on a glued to a heavy backing and hand turned on our lathe by Rob or Andrew. And they're all a little bit different. There's probably no two exactly the same, simply because so many of our parts are handmade.
Well, I think that's something that a lot of people don't realise, how very handmade the stuff is. You guys handcraft each wheel individually. It's not all mass produced in a big impersonal factory. These are wheels that are being made quite often to order, as people say, oh, I'd like a little gem, and their dealer says, oh, can you send us a little gem? You guys go out and make it. It's not even sitting in a storeroom somewhere. And each part is made individually, so there is some variation. So you're kind of getting a really unique wheel with a Majacraft wheel. Even the little gems and so on are all hand turned, and there's some variation, and I think that makes them really special. And also with the wood, because I love the New Zealand Remu, the wood grain also makes them really unique because each one looks slightly different.
That's what happens. And if you look, when we make a wheel, everyone is tested, and it's generally Glynis who does the testing. And there's always one of our family will have signed their name underneath and put a date on it. So every wheel is an individual wheel, Susie.
Yeah.
Apart from some of the pioneers that don't get an initial on them, but other than that, it's going to be one of our family will have somewhere put their name on it. So that's what you get when you get a Majacraft wheel.
Yeah, that is really special, because I know I was surprised, and apparently a lot of people are surprised at the size of the workshop. It's not like this giant factory there. It's like it's part of where you guys live. It's all the beautiful trees around, and it's just a nice environment, and it's not like just a big noisy factory. It's actually really pleasant and quite what's the word?
Tranquil.
It's like, it is tranquil, and it's like things are being made by hand there, and I think that makes it really a special place. It's not just somewhere where you shove wood in one end and get parts out the other end and ship them out flat packed. It's all even the wheels that are shipped out flat packed, of course, they are assembled first and tested, and I've seen Glynis testing them all as well. So it's quite a process, and I'm not sure that everybody is aware of that. It's not something that you like to know about if you haven't really focused on what Majacraft's doing or followed the history of it. But I think it's kind of a Kiwi thing too, that people make stuff here and they make stuff in their garage or their backyard, and then it sort of gets bigger and bigger, and I think the quality and the attention to detail is a big part of what you get with that. People are really looking at what they're making and looking to make it as beautiful as they can. So it's not just no, let's just factory make all the wheels and send them out. It's more like
Susie,
what we do when we get the wheel, is we then make something by hand on it, and we're proud of what we make.
Susie, I don't know if Glynis can pick up the wheel beside her, but she's got beside her one of the very first gems we ever made. And
That's
it looks
cool.
a little bit different, but I think this was probably #1 of the gems. And yep,
Is
it's got
this
little
a
holes,
3-hour wheel, Owen?
This is a 3-hour wheel. Well, it might have been almost 3 hours, but
Hang on, hold it
no,
up again.
it certainly took once we had figured out the principle,
Yeah.
it took a wee bit longer to make it, but it's pretty unique, and that's the one that Glynis is still using. And I think we made the first one in the year 2000. Has it got it written on it, Glynis?
No, there'd be no date on this. No.
One of them, I think, has got the year 2000. And so we've been making these for 17 years now.
This is the one with the holes in it to make it lighter.
Yep.
Well, it was
They
unique.
look like paw prints.
But you're still
It's a
spinning
cute
on
one.
it, aren't you, Glynis? I mean, it's still.
Yes, I do. Yes,
still
at the moment
you.
I've got 3 wheels in this room at the moment. I'm a bit over-wheeled.
I think you're allowed to be. It's okay.
Oh, yes, yes. Well, I don't generally try and have too many here, but this dear little one, I always have this here. And
Yeah,
I've got
that's
another one that
special.
Owen made quite early on, and it's Tasmanian blackwood, and it's got a highly laminated drive wheel. You will have seen it over at our holiday spot. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Have a look at the drive wheel. It's got heaps of different woods and the laminations on the drive wheel.
I'll have to have a
like
closer
that one.
look next
Yes.
time I see that. Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, well, we're all
Because
jealous that you have a husband that makes spinning wheels, Glynis.
well, plenty of people say they're going to get their husband to make them, but it's not always as easy as you think. It's sort of
There's quite an art to it, isn't there?
oh
It seems
yeah,
like it would be a simple thing,
there's
but
more to it than you think.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, even like balancing the flyer, I've seen you guys balancing those flyers, and that's also each one done individually, isn't it?
Yes.
Just to get the
Yeah.
flyer to work nicely. So it's not just a case of jamming a few bits together. You've got to actually make it work really well.
Owen does a lot of the balancing of the flyers, so he's always making sure that the balancing thing that we've made is running well, so that it's balancing as truly as we can. Yeah.
Okay, I have run out of coffee, and I think our time is just about, not that one thing depends on the other, but it may do a little bit. It could well be time for a fill up, and I think we've probably been chatting long enough. Hopefully we've covered everybody's burning questions about the little gem, or if there's anyone that's thinking about what kind of wheel they want for their next travel wheel. I see Linda's there. Hi, Linda. She's just saying it's the perfect cafe spinning wheel, and it absolutely is. Yep, because you can actually fit it between the tables quite comfortably, and I know this from experience. It's great in cafes and smaller places. Also, the library. We had a group here doing library spinning. That was really nice as well, and it's very quiet, so it's ideal for that too. It's not like some wheels will go squeak, 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 and that's not great in a library. So it's nice and smooth. So yep, lots of good places. Maybe we should have a little thread going on the Majacraft page and get people to tell us about the most unusual places they've spun with their little gems. That could be that could be interesting.
The mind boggles.
Yep. I'm sure we'll get some stories though. Let's do that. I think that would be fun. I have to think about where I was spun with mine. I think I was probably in an alpaca field at one point. It was good. So okay, I
Susie,
am
is this
going
our
to.
last go? Is this our last
Well,
live
it
stream,
is,
or-
but
yeah.
we don't have any more live streams scheduled. We didn't get to do the stylus one though, so we could do a little stylus, a little short stylus piece if anyone wants to see that being used. If anyone has any requests, yeah, they should post them on the Majacraft Facebook page, and we can come back, do more.
Otherwise, we'll wait for our next film, next movie we're going to make.
Yay! Actually, we do need to do some more movies. I think we want to do an assembly movie for the Rose because we've got the assembly movie for the Aura, and maybe some more demonstration ones for perhaps using the Overdrive. I've got a little list of videos that we're going to make to add to the YouTube channel. This one will stay on the YouTube channel permanently, along with the other live streams that we've done. So you can always come back and, follow up if there's anything you missed, or if you want to recheck any information that we've had. And if you have any questions from this, just let us know. But I'm sure we'll be back.
I'm sure we will.
Yeah. All right.
Well, thanks, Owen, for coming on.
Yay.
Thank you, Susie.
Thank you very much. And it's been a pleasure.
Good to see you both.
Yeah, thanks, Susie.
Bye all.
Bye-bye, Susie. Bye-bye,
Bye.
everybody.